Alrighty, y'all, welcome back to the show. We're looking at 5 habits of Germans I've picked up after living here for 5+ years. I believe this is an American woman who has moved to Germany for 5+ years. Really kind of cool to see her perspectives. And this is a channel I've never seen before called Zoe Marie. So this will be linked in the description down below so you can watch this whole video uninterrupted and definitely check out her channel. And this was suggested to me a while ago by some comments on various other videos. So too many people to thank. I appreciate this. And I feel like it's been a while since I did a straight up like German culture lifestyle. We got to just jump right into this. All right, here we go, y'all.
I want to start with the most obvious one because I think Germans, they have this stereotype of being very direct and to the point. And this, in my opinion, I found to be very true. And after living here for 5 years, it's something that I also picked up because for example, if I ask my boyfriend a question about what I'm wearing or about what we want to eat or how my food tastes or something like that, he is going to give me the most direct answer. And this could be a positive and a negative because...
Yeah, true. It could be positive and a negative. Yeah, I watched a video actually on the Dutch, a couple months ago, how they're known as being very direct. And I can see that, of course, bleeding over into other countries as well. Basically, I've heard a whole slew of a lot of European cultures and countries can be pretty direct. But you know what? I respect that. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think that's kind of logical. It's how most people should be. Certain cultures kind of, beat around the bush is like the saying, right? And it creates these kind of circular conversations that sometimes take a while to get places, if that makes sense, right? Being direct, as long as you're not trying to be literally rude, which directness and rudeness isn't directly linked. So that's kind of a false idea, thinking those are connected anyway. But I could see how it can be jarring maybe for someone who's not used to being direct. We'll put it that way. I would say in the U.S., it's not known as being the most direct, but it just depends, right? This is a huge country with people from all over the world, hundreds of millions of people here. So you can't really say a blanket statement about somewhere like here, at least from, this is my perspective here in the U.S. I know some people that are very direct and then some people that aren't. I think I'm a mixture. I think I'm generally pretty friendly. I think once I get to know people, I'm more direct. So that's like, I guess, my experience. You can ask my wife. I'm pretty direct. So if she does ask how her food is, or she does ask how something is or how something looks, I'm gonna say the truth. I'm not being mean. I respect her and I love her, and so I say, the truth, and she appreciates that, even though sometimes it's shocking. Like, wow, thanks, that was direct. So I guess, I'm someone who's, sort of direct, and I respect people that are direct,
Sometimes it's like so direct and it's like, wow, you could have sugarcoated it a little bit,
right?
But they just don't. And I found myself picking up this quality. I'm sure you guys know I am Jamaican American, and so in America, it's not known, it's not common for one to just, say exactly what you're feeling. You normally like go around the topic, you beat around the bush. That saying fits it perfectly, and I don't beat around the bush anymore. Like, there's no beating around the bush. I get to the point. If I'm annoyed, if I don't like something, if something does not look good to me, I legit will just say it. Yeah, it's just something that I've picked up, and I don't know, I don't think I would actually go back. I kind of like it a little bit better just because I'm just not beating around the bush, right? I'm just getting to the point. Like, you don't have to ask me question A, B, or C to get an answer. You ask me a question and I'll answer it the first time around. Number 2 is going to be opening the windows. This is something that I've picked up since living here, and it's not to say that I never opened windows before. Like, please don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying, but it's something here that's like really a thing, like letting air through your apartment, letting air through your house, opening the window for at least 5 to 10 minutes every single day.
That's cool. Yeah, that should definitely be more of a thing anywhere, I feel like, within reason, of course, right? So for me, I know I always go back to this, but it really shows how crazy different parts of the country are. So up north, up here in Illinois, I don't do it enough. I should. Obviously, the climate can be a problem. It can be really cold in winter. It can be really hot in summer. It's kind of all over the place. but I don't open windows barely at all, and I should. I think that's a good idea. This is something I can adopt right from this video, actually. I know some people even open doors. That's, it just depends. Open doors, open windows. Get some sort of natural outside air ventilation going. And I think generally that's a good idea. Now, of course, living in New Mexico, it was, right on the border of New Mexico, Texas, and Mexico. It was a great climate, right? It was always warm, even in winter, and it was really hot in summer, but it was never like frigid cold. So down there, I will say I always opened, sometimes I'd open the back door to the house, have the door wide open, but otherwise I would always open windows where I could. I guess for me, it's dependent on weather in my head, right? Down there, warmer climate, always had windows open. I loved that fresh air. That fresh desert breeze coming in was just like beautiful. Here, you do get some nice breezes, though, in Illinois, so I need to do that more. For some reason here, I just don't open windows enough. That's a good one.
It's really a thing. I lived in 3 places in Germany, so 3 apartments, and every apartment the landlord actually said you need to open the windows every single day, and that was that. Like, it was not even a question. It was like, this is a request. When you move in here, you need to open the windows. And I've seen this as well going to other German families' homes. They like always open the windows. Like, windows are just always open.
Right.
There's always air coming through. And so that's something that I also do. I definitely open all of the windows every single morning, winter or summer, just to air out the apartment and let out whatever nasty air was residing overnight.
Yeah, I think that one is pretty good. Like I said, I really do like that. Another thing I forgot to add, though, was down in the desert, there wasn't as many like flies and random bugs flying around. Not like up here. For some reason, up in Illinois, this area of the country, there's a lot of bugs, a lot of flies, a lot of little spiders and just little things that love to crawl around your house. So I feel like maybe that's part of it in my head, is not every window has a screen. So, of course, windows with a screen make it easier. You open the window, you have that screen barrier letting the fresh air in, but, of course, hopefully keeping bees and flies out and stuff like that. So is that a thing in Europe? Because I haven't seen a lot of screens on windows in Europe from the few videos I've seen. Of course, that doesn't speak for the whole. So if screens are common, then that answers my question. If they're not common, then how do you guys open windows so much and not get something coming in, right? An uninvited guest, so to say. If you would like to comment on your experience on that, I would love to hear it.
3 is going to be something similar to airing out the apartment. So I never really did this. I know a lot of Americans don't do this. This is, I think, maybe even a European thing, but Germans clean their showers every single day. And this is mostly due to the calc. So you don't want calc buildup in your shower.
Yeah, calcium buildup, right? Well, that's hard water. So I have soft water at our house.
So literally you have to clean your shower every single day. The same 3 apartments that I've lived in, again, that was one of the requirements from the landlords. They're just like, you need to clean the shower, every single day. Like, they showed you the little squeegee thingy, and you have to, wipe away the water as well.
Oh yeah, I have to do that. Yep, definitely had to do that on the glass. Yes.
Get like a cloth.
Very
and
familiar
dry
with that.
Everything out. So this is something that I do every single day. And when I go on vacation in the US, it's like so foreign for me not to clean the shower. But it's just a habit that I as well have picked up while living in Germany. Number 4 is going to be having coffee and cake. Guys, I have never
yummy.
eaten so much coffee and cake in my life.
I'm someone who typically doesn't eat cake. Don't like the way it sits in me. But I mean, if a cake is really good, I might try it. Coffee. Now, I like coffee. So, I mean, the idea of coffee and cake sounds pretty good.
I don't even like coffee. Like, coffee is not my thing. I am not a coffee fan, but since coming to Germany, when I tell you, it's like every Sunday there's coffee, there's cake. So Germans really, really love their coffee and cake.
Damn, those look good.
And I could see it as an equivalent to...
Look at that. Wow. That does look good. I'll admit it. Look at this. Ooh.
So Germans really, really love their coffee and cake.
I might be down to try some cake if I was in Germany.
For example, the British people, they love their tea. First of all, I was never a cake eater. Like, I hated cake. On my birthdays, I never, ever had cake. The only thing that I would eat is cheesecake. Like I said, I was never really...
Yeah, I always feel bad because luckily, whenever we have parties with family and stuff, a lot of people do end up eating cake, which is great because I don't want to waste food and stuff. But man, when we have parties, like we just had Easter, like an Easter party here at our house, and we had a awesome cake, and it was actually really good. But that's the point, is I only have like a little piece and I'm good. Like I don't eat a lot of it. So I feel like I don't contribute to like, oh, let's eat this cake so we don't waste it, right? I can't even muster like eating a little bit. So yeah, I'm the same way. I don't eat cakes at birthday parties and stuff. It's just not what I'm into.
Really into coffee, but here on the weekends, every time me and my boyfriend go out, we're always having cake. Just know when you come here, you probably will like coffee and cake because it's just such a normal thing to do. So yeah, that's not a habit of mine. I now like cake. The last thing that I want to mention, so number 5 is going to be eating bread. Literally every single Sunday, there is always going to be bread on the table. Like,
just, you could say this about so many different places within Europe, especially. Different types of bread, all these homemade, amazing bakeries, and going to the market, getting fresh bread, right, to do with whatever at home. It sounds awesome. There's so many different types of breads you can get here, but I feel like it's different. It's too big store, too corporatized. It's hard to find actual homemade bread that's like fresh here. You can do it, but it's not so common, whereas I think it would be much more common in Germany, in France, in Italy, right? Like all these different places. I feel like it's just a different bread culture from what I've heard, and I tell you what, it looks like it's so good. And yeah, I would love to try that
loaves of bread buns, pretzels.
Yeah, look at all
bread.
that.
Germans really, really love bread, and I never ate bread like that when I was living in New York. I was never eating bread. It never really crossed my mind. The only type of bread I ate was like bagels. And that would just be seldom. I think around every corner in everyone's neighborhood there is a bakery, and a bakery is kind of different than what we would think of it as in the US. So before I came to Germany, I always imagined a bakery to be like with cakes, like if you want to get a birthday cake or something like that. In Germany, the term is a little bit different. It's basically referring to like where you can go and get bread. You can also get cake there, but it's like a huge assortment of bread that you can buy. And so
that looks so cool.
Yeah, I'm just eating bread all the time. Every weekend for breakfast, my boyfriend goes out and he gets a bag full of bread from the bakery, and we just sit there and we eat bread. We have jam, we have like fruits, and that's also a thing. I was never really a breakfast person. I never like ate breakfast. It was never something like special in my family. Or
ooh, breakfast is my favorite meal. I think that's the best part of the day.
Any of my friends back in the States, this is something that I've picked up, like breakfasting and eating bread, although I'm trying to cut back on the bread just because of all of the carbs. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, found it
Hey, that was interesting. 5 habits of Germans she picked up after 5 years. I guess all of them I didn't know what to expect are pretty interesting. A couple of them I related to, like the cleaning the shower to an extent. It might be different than what she's talking about, but, to a mild extent, I agree with that. And I think that's common here, just depending on who you are, I guess. Same with the directness. Now, I think she's correct. If we want to talk like blanket statements as a whole, I think most certain places, not most, I should say, but certain places, like Dutch, German, directness, I think is a thing, right? Of course, it doesn't go for everyone. Same with America, right? Directness is not as common here. Of course, there are very direct people here, and then there are people who aren't direct. I will say, I guess it's easier to gauge, maybe not in one-on-one conversation with people but rather in a social setting. So you go into a bakery in the U.S. or you go into a bakery in Germany, for example, you might encounter more directness just in public in Germany than you would in the U.S. Example being, like if maybe you try a sample of something in Germany, I would assume, I'm just assuming here, the directness translates to, in Germany, if someone tries like a sample of something and they don't like it, they're going to say they don't like it, and maybe for what reason or whatever. Whereas in the U.S., it's generally common. I can think of, like, if you tried a sample here and you didn't like it, you would just, eat it, swallow it, and like kind of say like, yeah, like, thank you, or like, oh, you might even say, oh, it's good, but then like don't want more or don't purchase it or whatever, and you walk away. So, like, do you get what I'm saying? I think it would be a lot less common here to be like, oh, I don't like that. And this is a random example I'm thinking of, just to show, like, in a social setting, the whole beating around the bush in North America, right? When I say I'm direct with people I know, or like I'm direct with my wife, I would still admittedly fall victim to the indirectness. Like in a social setting, if I did try a sample of something and I didn't like it, I would know that I don't like it in my head, but I wouldn't exactly articulate that to the person because I don't want to like hurt their feelings, you know? So that's like, I don't know how to explain that. That's just how it is here. And so I can see the culture clash when someone from here would go over to Germany and maybe experience a different form of directness. But yeah, the opening windows, that's another one I would really like to pick up. I think that's a really good idea. I definitely vibe with that. So I would love to hear your comments, your experiences down below. Please throw a like on there if you did enjoy this. Subscribe to be part of this amazing community we do have here. Link for this and her channel is down in the description down below. Make sure to check it out. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. And until next time, y'all, I'll catch you later.